Well, we are ready to go into picks and bans here for Game 2, Hindu Man. Let's see if that's what Obey feel as well, if they feel like the team fight was strong enough and they just need to win by a bigger margin, or if they do want to try and get someone who can provide that sustained damage that they were missing in the form of those basic attacks. Could be a Soul.
That Game 1, though, from Obey was the best they've looked all season.
They looked great.
That was the best they've looked all season, and we might be on for a classic here, because that Game 1 is something that you can watch back quite a few times to see a lot of interesting developments in that one of how well everybody played. Game 2, though, Obey just need a reset here. They need to go back to it. They had a fantastic game there. Back and forth encounter against NRG. It feels like they're getting back to their best.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to put too much blame on the Ataraxia pick. There were a couple fights that only went their way because the tail end of some Tycho drum damage found a kill, so certainly he played it well.
I want to talk about the fact that Achilles got banned out there. iRaffer was so big in that last
By
game.
NRG, yeah.
And they've banned the Achilles over the Terra. It means the Terra's been left open, so Obey get that instead because they were terrorized by Achilles, and now they get to be terrorized by Terra.
Terra's going to be the selection indeed, and Cerberus and Nuwa to follow that up. Makes a lot of sense. Nuwa very strong right now. We covered her safety when we're talking about Game 1, but this Cerberus pick can be so disruptive. In particular, that Stygian Torment is so strong in team fights.
Definitely. I mean, just forces beads, and if you don't have beads up, you're going on a wild ride you don't want to be going for. Specifically because in competitive level of play with the Pro League players, you can communicate exactly where you're going to be dropping everybody. They'll all be like, yeah, drop them right there, and I'll fire my snipe straight away. So it's a big thing for them. More importantly, the Nuwa. I think that'll probably go to emilitoo. We've seen it more on emilitoo than anybody else.
Ravana and Ra. So the RAs are going to be selected there by Obey. They capitalizing the RA starts, I suppose. But the Ravana, we've seen this one do a very good job in the jungle so far. And then the Ra providing tons of sustain. They're going back to this one. They already tried that last time, so now they're going to try it one more time.
I think having Prime on that Ra again, he had a fantastic first game. I want to see him on it again. It was a very comfortable situation for him to be in. Not so sure about the Soul Gem as his last item there. I would have maybe liked something else. I don't know. I just didn't feel like he needed the Soul Gem on that one. But the build worked out well for him. He had a very good performance, had his team up. No surprise to see him go back to it.
Chulainn gonna round out the first pick phase for NRG, and no big surprises here. Chulainn, one of the stronger solo laners that you can have. Not 100% guaranteed though with that Cerberus on the table. Either one of them really could play support or could play in the solo lane. We just saw Achilles played support.
And talking about that, the Anhur lock in there is going to be interesting. So expected the Nuwa to go to emilitoo. It might not be the case now. Nuwa in the mid lane, although seeing Yammyn on Anhur could be interesting. It's definitely an interesting possibility. But with the Artemis locked in, I'm happy to be Anhur in that lane.
Yeah, that CC Muni from the Desert Fury going to do well up against the Artemis, who we all know is SS tier, a story we broke right here at hi-rez. Artio going to be coming out to go right along with it.
The pros have started to show up and prove it too.
It's not even sarcastic anymore.
I know. It was some sort of meme at first, and now it's like, oh, the meme is actually reality. It's almost like Trump being in power, you know?
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's getting dark. Artio, though, has been selected. So between the Terra and the Artio now, they got the double Guardians. They'll probably be seeing, though, Terra support Ravana in the jungle, and Artemis can be very strong from as the hunter, and then Daji going to be the last selection for NRG.
Wouldn't mind Artio in the support role here, actually, in Terra in the solo lane. Main reason for that is just because Terra can obviously be immune to the knock-up coming out from that Stygian Torment from Cerberus as well. But not only that, Artio's lockdown potential in the duo lane is pretty impactful here, specifically if it is going to be the Cerberus and Chulainn in the support role. So those leaps not available for the Anhur, for the Chulainn. Could be an interesting one.
That's right, and it could certainly slow them down in the duo lane. We'll see where they put all these picks into action here in Game 2. Obey NRG, get to the casters.
Thanks a lot, my friend. This is going to be an interesting one. Curious to see how everybody's going to do in game number 2. SK Gaming no longer here. It's all about Obey Alliance versus NRG. And Obey controlled the game for, I think, 33 minutes. And then nobody controlled the game for 10. And then the last couple of seconds, we saw NRG swoop from beneath.
That's true. Maybe that's why they're picking the Artemis this time around. A god that does have crit, that can melt those objectives whenever presented to them.
Yeah, I like this switch up right now. Obey lost game number 1. Will the Artemis be enough to win them game number 2? That's what we ask you guys in Mixer Chat. Will we see a third game? Either way, very excited to get into this one. This is the other side of the Hunter conundrum. Players right now are unhappy with how Hunters have been performing. So you basically, Obey Alliance, are giving us the world-class show. Either you just say goodbye to the Hunter, and you take a mage there. We've seen Nuwa, we've seen a couple of other options. Or you go the hyper late game hunter. Cyclone Spin showed off the Xaliea. Here we see the Artemis, and we've seen a number of Artemises as well, even in North America. So Obey Alliance saying goodbye to the leave the hunter at home strategy and say hello to it's been a while. We'll take out the late gamers.
I'm surprised not to see, honestly, the Chronos or even the Soul here yet again coming out of NRG. Instead, going to try to play aggressive. I think that's where the power curve is going to lie for them, is trying to deny Ataraxia from getting to that crit late game potential.
The problem is that CaptainTwig and PrettyPriMe are well equipped to deal with the mid game. And iRaffer on this new Terra, don't forget, this is Earth and Fury, not Terra's Blessing. So she's going to be able to, in a smaller radius, provide a bigger effect. No longer any movement speed, but frankly, everything else you could want. You do more damage, the opponent does less. It's a really, really intense ultimate, actually. Can we take a look at it before the game really starts?
It's going to be like a huge damage swing as well. A lot of time we'll compare it to, you know, it's like almost having half of an upgraded Horrific Emblem and half of an upgraded Belt of Frenzy.
Yeah, that ultimate out of iRaffer. Can we actually take a look at it? It's going to affect everyone. I always think that's funny about the tooltip there. But look at all of this text. It's going to heal you after you take a couple of shots. It's going to do some it's going to amplify It just does a total mess of things.
That's true, but keep in mind that enemies receive 10% more damage once all the harmful stones are activated, and that's going to be the important part of it, is how fast can Obey utilize that to their advantage.
Got to make use of that one. The old Guardian solo Guardian start here in the duo lane. Not exactly the most exciting.
So with iRaffer going 5 health potions and 4 multi-potions, you're looking at a huge investment of gold. 450 to be exact there. And at that point, I'm almost questioning, like, why not just start off a chalice straight up, one way or the other, between health or mana?
Because then you wind up with less potions overall for the start, right? You get your 3 and they can be refreshed. CaptainTwig with the early first blood. Catching everybody by surprise. Just going to pick that one up in the first minute.
Not a good look here, because Nuwa definitely struggles enough as it is in the early game trying to overcome that huff. She really gets off in the later portion when she's like level 13. She gets 3 points in the ultimate. That's when certain players are going to start feeling it.
It's a little bit of just a mistake there to die that early. Very unfortunate for NRG. Likely be able to turn that one around, though. Giving the Ravana a lead in the jungle. Never something you want to do. Just able to provide so much pressure with such a little bit of nonsense.
More action here in the duo lane, and we were talking about the potions from iRaffer, and that's what's to be expected, but adapting, making the rotation here on the right side of the map, playing it very safe as Xaliea.
And so we're going to take a second look at that first blood here, and it just caught out. CaptainTwig hanging out, has the blink, goes for it, finds the root, and then the follow-up from PrettyPriMe, just a little bit too much. The slow combined with the root, too much to handle for Yammyn.
Even expected that to happen. Uses Aegis in anticipation of the root. He's like, oh no, I'm in a bad spot. But didn't have the purification beads to negate the slow and the root. Instead, he got bursted down quite heavily. Even getting a little bit of health from the tier 1 version of the Warlock staff wasn't really enough to survive.
Yeah, just poor positioning coming out right there. I mean, those choke points entering the lanes are so impactful, and everybody knows it. You just blink over there, take care of business, and it's right back to work for PrettyPriMe and his jungler.
Ooh, CaptainTwig, though, trying to invade, but good use of just hitting those basic attacks. Yammyn not going to allow another blink to occur.
iRaffer here, getting the root off. One of the bigger changes here to Terra. Slow, no longer the case. It's going to be the root. That was the plus she got for the change on the ultimate.
EmilZy still playing aggressive here in the duo lane. They really want to try to fight fire with fire. When the flip side is EmilZy did start off with the health chalice and some regular health potions to follow suit. Not going to have the same amount of mana sustain as opposed to all the multi-potions from iRaffer, but still good enough to clear the wave.
Ooh, the ultimate expended by maniaKK, who dodges the root out of CaptainTwig. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but if CaptainTwig finds that root, Anatoly, I think that's actually a kill on maniaKK, despite how healthy he looks. I really think Xaliea and CaptainTwig can finish that off.
Definitely possible there. Not wanting to overcommit under that tier 1 tower. Blue buffs were already completed, So can't even get anything afterwards.
I think a big part of that opportunity is the start for Xaliea. Starting this tier 1, what is that, Breastplate of Valor? That is so important. You know, I'm so lucky to be able to hang out and cast with you, Totally, because you've really brought my eye to these small intricacies in the solo lane.
The 20 protection is really important to just get the edge over your physical counterpart. You're getting a lot less damage also against the minions, and with Warrior's Blessing and the 20 protections, those minions are basically dealing -2 damage to you.
That's the real big thing there, is the minion damage. Yammyn anything but the god damage comes through, and NRG answers back the first blood. That'll even up the game a little bit. Previously about 1,000 in the lead. Now just that first blood bounty 500. But yeah, going back to that solo lane conversation, the damage that the minions do is really big, and the little pickup there is really exciting, because that's what allows Xaliea to play this aggressive. If Xaliea has a different start here, he can't be playing up this far away. He can't be taking this damage.
No, not at all here. Powwow is going to get negated here. The snap cancel not fast enough compared to the Mystic Rush from CaptainTwig. Great reaction time. And also, surprised to see this aggression here. Look at maniaK's health pool. It is non-existent. He has yet to back to base. Without teleport, he can't really do much here. He's just kind of baiting for adapting to clean up.
Yeah, adapting, trying to get into it, but he's taking damage as well. Level 7 Xaliea.
Oh, Twiggy's thinking about diving.
Blink, and then he's going to find the hands, and maniaK going to sit down. CaptainTwig out of the UK. Fine stuff on the Ravana.
And the blue buff will be rewarded for Obey Alliance's aggression here. No teleport from maniaK. He's going to miss out on this next wave. Very unfortunate stuff here. And Adapting can't even sit under that tower to cover the wave. He can definitely get dove by Xaliea afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, CaptainTwig didn't... Oh, he did wind up using the ultimate. I was going to say, he didn't really expend too much outside of the blink.
Well, he used the ultimate defensively to get away from the Powwow that was used about 15 to 30 seconds prior.
All right, there it is. iRaffer now trying to defend here. As NRG aggress onto his mid laner, but PrettyPriMe looking rather strong here.
Hearing that death animation is always interesting, because I'm like, wait, Ra's not dead, but that's what happens when you make souls with a Cerberus and then you kill them with your own ultimate.
Gotta make sure you're paying attention there, so you're not fooled. Seen a couple of people fooled by mechanics like that once or twice. My favorite was when Sun Wukong was first released. There was a play that was made against Variety, I believe. But left side, emilZy going to make the play here on the Ataraxia. Blink forward from the Anhur. emilitoo feeling very, very crafty, but watching players be hoodwinked by mechanics like that, whether it's the clone, the decoy, or the audio effect, it's always fun.
My funniest interaction with that was when the decoy intercepted by a Arachne pull way back in the day.
All right, Arachne used to have the Sylvanas pull. emilZy on a different Guardian of Choice gets away. The ultimate technically on the money as he hits Yammyn, but he misses the intended target, emilZy. There's the ultimate, and the pull down is good, but the jump is better. Ataraxia with the hail of arrows, CaptainTwig with the hail of hands, and 2 players go down. Adapting and emilZy will sit out for about 10 seconds. The Gold Fury not on the menu. Everybody has already walked away.
They're going to chase this down. I thought for a second that they were guaranteed to chase this down, because Ataraxia having boots and emilitoo started to finish off those Devil Gloves, but instead CaptainTwig was contemplating it. His blink was available if they wanted to go for the Anhur, but still forcing him back to base gives Ataraxia that window to invade the red buff. So not only did they get those 2 kills, but Obey Alliance, like you say, Tom, a lot. What do they do?
They get the stuff after the stuff. That's what separates the adults from the children. When you're able to go ahead and make use of your kills, you can have 100 kills out of Totally, and it doesn't win you the game. This isn't arena. You ain't getting no points for kills. That was my point last time around, was that when you get a kill, You have to be looking for something after the fact. Now, there is something to be said about shutting down a player. There's something to be said about killing a player so that gives you a lead by default because you're able to farm when they're not. But Obey Alliance make the big boy play right there. They get the kill. They realize they don't have the opportunity for the Gold Fury, so they look for at least the red buff, which is a very big part of today's game. 2,500 gold in the lead already is Obey Alliance.
And not only just the golden experience denied here onto the Hunter for emilitoo or even Yammyn here potentially, but the damage that they're denying for NRG. If that red buff goes onto Yammyn that's sitting at level 9, well, that level 2 ultimate does a little bit more damage now.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of bit more damage. It's a huge contribution from power, and Nuwa going to build directly into that power. That said, not online just yet. maniaKK getting harassed underneath his tower again, and CaptainTwig in the enemy jungle again.
This is how you get an advantage here. The searing pain
Bang!
from a distance. The fists from CaptainTwig and iRaffer with the root going to force out those defensive fire shards.
PrettyPriMe always been a spectacle on the Ra. The long-range damage is huge. Just Obey Alliance working on all cylinders, individually, albeit the team fight.
Half a second too late. Yikes.
I'll reserve my yikes for worse moments. I think everybody goes through that one.
Yeah.
That's just a oops.
I think he did a little bit of a double take, though. He peeked around the corner, and then he went back, and then he went forward again.
You know what else I say? Hesitation leads to devastation.
Well, Obey just going to walk between a tail between their legs as they retreat from that kill.
If you stutter, down come the shutters.
What else do you got for me?
I'll work on it. Yammyn working on iRaffer. Here! The ultimate from PrettyPriMe going to hit his own teammate. Most importantly, sending the players around his teammate away. Just for clarification, there is no team damage.
That would be the worst feeling.
That would be terrible in Smite.
Nuwa would never be picked.
Oh, because she hit her own teammates? No, I think if friendly fire was an option, I think you're looking at...
Zhonghui.
Zhonghui is miserable.
Alpwash.
Sure, yeah.
Cuckoo Clan.
Less so, Kukulkan, but you are launching that ultimate in the middle of a team fight. Warriors become nonsense. Yeah, you want a Kukulkan ult in the middle of a team fight?
Fear no evil.
Oh my goodness. Very glad that the original intent was not to have friendly fire.
That should be like a game mode.
Oh my goodness. I don't even think they could do that. But if they could, imagine if they did that and it broke the other modes.
Adventure mode.
Now you're onto something there, Tully. There it is. You're onto something there. NRG so far, only a single kill. Obey Alliance looking dastardly in this early game. But I feel like I've seen this one before, Tully.
The difference was between game 1, no Hunter for Obey Alliance. So this lead actually matters for them. They're able to make it happen here. emilitoo trying to trade with Ataraxia. Both of them having the lifesteal, of course. Favoring out Ataraxia ever so slightly. He's going to back, though, not wanting to overstep.
Ult for ult. Tusky comes out. emilitoo actually gets stunned by it. Still deploys his ultimate just for the return damage, which forces Ataraxia back on home.
I think he misclicked. I think he jumped in place instead of using the ultimate against the Tusky. So once he landed, he got instantly stunned. And then he used the ultimate to make sure that he wasn't going to get rooted afterwards.
Love the timing from Ataraxia. This is a really big point here that I think I'm making, is the fact that... I love how I self-clarify. It is a really big point that I am making. Ataraxia pulls that fight as soon as he hits level 12. Because if he wins the fight, the enemy dies, and he's able to go ahead and back to base for free and get that second relic. And if he loses the fight, he is confident in his own ability that he won't die. But if he gets forced out of lane, so will the enemy. Any way you slice it, both players are going to go back to base. Ataraxia forces that fight because maybe he gets the kill and can do it for free.
And also picking up that tier 2 crit sword. So he's going to have extra burst damage here if Obey goes for this Gold Fury.
The level 12 gives him the secondary relic, making sure emilitoo couldn't do the same at level 11. iRaffer putting himself in harm's way, allowing the team to follow up. That's old style iRaffer. That's how he was able to find success on NRG. That's where that team was so successful. I like to see that on Obey.
Obey playing very aggressive off of their support, really relying on now a double heal between not only PrettyPrime's Raw again, but also iRaffer's Monoliths.
And iRaffer's Monoliths, as the team goes on the right-hand side, adapting forced into the powwow, looking for the pull. Gets a couple of chains off, jumps on down. No follow, however, the Terra blessing is out there, and the Earth is furious. Adapting going to be blocked off, can't make it into the tower. He can't get there. Oh, but he jumps to the safety of a teammate. Obey Alliance a little bit slow to react to the trap they inadvertently set on the jungler. And NRG are the first ones to come back, take care of iRaffer. But Obey doesn't care.
That's
totally
true.
Obey lost the team fight and are still looking for the objective. Here comes the fight onto Xaliea, making the quick rotation. It's a 4-on-4.
It was a quick pick off there. Ataraxia was a little bit slow to the team fight here compared to emilitoo, and this is where the cleanup crew happens. It's all Obey Alliance now. The Tusky wasn't used in that engagement. It was a longer cooldown than the Desert Fury, and that's why Obey are feeling really frisky here.
Really interesting play there from Obey. Now with the early critical strike, Ataraxia is going to tear this one down. Big difference from the Ryzen, like you mentioned earlier. 25%, we're now in the yellow. Here comes PrettyPriMe, and it's all Obey.
15-minute Gold Fury for the black and white crew here, trying to find their first victory in this best-of-3 set, trying to extend it to a game 3. This is their biggest lead thus far in the set.
And this is also the best they've looked all split. Week number 5 out of 6, so perhaps too little too late. In fact, they can't get to land, barring a miracle, so it is too little too late. But I said this earlier, talking about how they're looking towards the future of this season. Split summer, split fall. These guys this isn't a team that I think is going to break up tomorrow, right? I think they realize that they've got something going here. The top speed of this Obey Alliance squad is very high. They might have had trouble getting there. The acceleration, not quite there. But once this team ramps up totally, I think they're going to be something to be trifled with as the season continues.
I definitely agree. I think that there's a lot of potential. They just need to find the right parts to fit in the right spots here. Obey Alliance, they're playing spoiler basically here for the rest of their matches.
Yeah.
And NRG, they just need to win 2 out of the 3 of their next sets. And in week number 6, hold that thought though, maniaKK is sandwiched.
iRaffer doing a good job there. I can't speak for the rest of Obey Alliance, but I think iRaffer plays better when he's trying to prove people wrong, when he's just trying to be spoiler. iRaffer's a rough and tumble type guy. That's what I'll say. He's from the same city as Hindu Man, a Manchester boy. So I think that shows where the savagery comes from. iRaffer right now has to get out of dodge, and he will with the sprint button. And watching him in these scenarios where he's out here trying to prove people wrong, I like that.
Ooh, emilitoo though is baiting on purpose because adapting is right here, waiting out the Aegis.
So is Twig! So is Twig! So is Twig! The crit's good from Ataraxia, but let me fix that face. Number 5 for the jungler. And iRaffer gets his revenge in the solo lane, cutting down maniaKK.
Great use of the rotations here. Obey Alliance are at the right place at the right time, fighting fire with fire here. Twig just barely able to save his hunter there. Even the ultimate from Yammyn wasn't enough to lock down Ataraxia.
That was Ataraxia baiting into the bait into the bait. He knew that he was going to go ahead and get baited, so he had his jungler waiting there, waiting for the bait to bait into the wait. But right now, no time to wait. Everybody going to go ahead because Obey look great. Half HP on the Fire Giant already. Hitting EmilZy with both. Oh, he used the ultimate.
That's true.
I don't know about that one.
He's trying to jump away here, buying a lot of time. They're taking a lot more damage in return here, using the Stygian tournament. CaptainTwig is in position here, but it's Obey that will secure the Fire Giant, getting a double at the tail end of it is Twiggy.
Lucky number 7 for Benjamin Knight, the artist known as CaptainTwig, looking fantastic on his return to the Ravana. Absolutely love the way that he's playing this character. No sense of a tank. It'll come with the kit. Let me build the 3-item package that the junglers love. The Crusher, the Heartseeker, and the Booties. And he is just punching people. Lights out. 9 of the 10 kills have had his stamp of approval. Obey Alliance, 9,000 gold in the lead. Fire Giant in tow, looking to siege.
Obey did 2 main differences between their first draft and the second one. Number 1, obviously, the physical hunter here for Ataraxia, but number 2 was switching up their jungle. More close range rumble and tumble kind of god onto CaptainTwig with this Ravana pick, which was banned away. The secondary ban phase from Obey themselves. They could have actually picked that up in the 7th pick slot, but now they realize the success that Ravana really has in the early stages. They're like, you know what? We're not even going to ban it away in secondary ban phase. We're going to pick it before the secondary ban phase.
Well, Hunbats is a fantastic team fighter, and his damage is a little bit lower most of the time because of that team fight ultimate, right? Ravana's going to bring more raw damage than the Hunbats the majority of games that he plays. So Ataraxia on the mage, sure, Raijin is a great team fight character, but noticing the deficits that they had in game number 1, go to a hunter with a team fight ultimate.
It's also the jungler's idea of having more tools for survival, whereas Ravana has so much more than a Hunbat.
Sure.
Trying to get in and out of the action, Ravana can definitely do so between that overhead kick, between the Mystic Rush, whereas Hunbats doesn't really have CC immunity in his kit.
Ataraxia is bringing the team fight prowess and also the single target damage. Tusky's going to make a mess of a team fight. CaptainTwig doesn't have to worry about that, can just provide the damage, which, by the way, the crit is doing. Not a huge fan of the rage on the Artemis.
It's not a bad idea when you set yourself up for the future. The problem that I have with this build is that there's no thorns here for NRG, so Ataraxia revealed his cards really early in the game. I think even before maniaKK hit level 12, and by going for that tier 2 rage right off the bat, that should have been a little trigger for maniaKK or maybe even emilZy to pick up the thorns and try to shut down this Artemis.
Here's the thing, though, and I agree with you most of the time, but I think that the tier 2 crit stick was important to allow Ataraxia to actually get the kills and the objectives that we saw. If he doesn't have that, I'm not sure the way it goes, but NRG respond with blinks and shells instead of the direct thorns.
I like the shell idea. Absorb some basic attacks here, and you know, if you can't reflect the crit, maybe at least you can absorb it here to survive a little bit longer here, but I don't think one height of an immune line for maniaKK is going to be enough to stop Ataraxia from doing his job as a late game Artemis.
Obey Alliance going to work and just taking care of their class work, if you will. Left, mid, and right, all devoid of towers at the moment. Now looking towards the right side, Firebird, the one closest to the Fire Giant. Just about 24 seconds left on the buff. So Obey have to go ahead and make a move now if they want to make use of it. NRG Esports trying to play defense. They're down a whole ton of gold, about 15K. And Obey are just pushing into the base. PrettyPriMe takes care of maniaKK. And the bird is going to go down.
Trying to dash away. Not enough, says PrettyPriMe. You're coming back in here with me. So is emilZy. 3 dead on the side of NRG. And
is it enough?
CaptainTwig and the crew not feeling confident enough to go for the Titan, but feeling really good about getting a second bird.
iRaffer with a fantastic game so far. 7 out of 13 kills he's been a part of. But he's set his team up in so many noticeable ways, and many more unnoticeable ways, I'm sure.
Looking so good. Going for the 3rd bird now. Obey Alliance on a complete 180 shift here from game 1 to game number 2 here. Looking so pretty. Fire Giant faded away about even 40 seconds ago. Now Obey Alliance have the luxury to set themselves up for the next one.
Safe play there is coming out from Obey. Interesting point of note. I want to see if you agree. If this is game number 1, I think they go for the victory. But I think because of the way that they've lost their couple of games here, I think that they're a little bit more trepidatious about just going for it.
Well, they also had probably a lot of gold in hand. Finishing off Deathbringer was Ataraxia now, so getting that extra damage here just on the players from NRG is important here. Now, this next Fire Giant is not the enhanced one, so you're not getting the 30% extra structure damage for when those Phoenixes respawn, but still a good amount to be able to secure the Titan. The regen is going to be important for Obey Alliance to stick into it for as long as possible.
And the most important part is when we talk about the ability for teams to come out and stalemate, right? Obey Alliance have a 20,000 gold lead, Anatoly. They are an item and a half above the opposition. It's very important for Obey not to waste too much time here because, like you said, that golden hand, Obey Alliance are 6 slotted, including starting items for most of these positions, specifically the jungle I'm looking at. And then across the way, NRG, they have 4 items, an empty 6 slot, and still have their blessings.
Still trying to make something happen as NRG. They have no more Phoenixes to defend. It's only the throne room. NRG, they won the first game, so they still have some wiggle room in this best of 3 set.
We'll see where they opt to go. CaptainTwig on the right-hand side. Artio trailing behind. Everybody else grouping here for the mid lane. Obey Alliance coming in hot. 24 minutes. A very short game if it should end here, Tully.
Very true. Compared to the last one there, that was about 20 minutes longer.
Obey Alliance are going to be greeted by the Powwow. 2 misses. And a third one will hit. There's a snap, crack, and iRaffer's not going to get popped. It's all about the other side. 15, 16 kills. And Ataraxia picks up a triple. Make it 17. And Obey stretches to game number 3.
It was such a dominant performance here from CaptainTwig. 10-0-6 was the scoreline for this Ravana jungle.
Twiggy comes through, iRaffer steps up, Ataraxia makes a mess of the opposition. This was a great team victory, but I still ask you guys who you think stepped up the most.
There's only one person that comes to mind, honestly. It's all CaptainTwig.
Twig winds up with the numbers, the highlight reel, and hopefully the adornment of the fans, because this was a great performance from a great jungler. Most importantly, bonus smite. Game 3, we'll break down game number 2 first.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tolly. And catch your breath there, Mixer Chat. Obey Alliance, after taking game 1 to 44 minutes, actually take game 2. And Graham, they don't just take it. I mean, they take it confidently.
That was annihilation, that game. That's the best,
that was not
best
good.
word for it, annihilation. CaptainTwig did something that... CaptainTwig has always been a confidence player, for sure. Always been a confidence player, but the one problem he's always had is, like, if he gets behind early, he can't give that confidence roll, and he can't get back into it. This game, he got off to a great start at the beginning of the game, and that caused so many problems for them finish. Like, there's just no answer to it, where Twig is just over and over again just beating them down.
Twig looked great, and I'm sure Twig is going to be the one that ends up getting that MVP vote, but I do want to make sure that we do talk about iRaffer. I mean, he looked great for them that game, baiting himself like we've seen him do before, setting up for the rest of the team, and he's the only one that died. He died twice, and everyone else on his team lived. I mean, if you're the support, that's exactly what you want.
Well, this is a look at iRaffer, but what iRaffer was doing in this game was important because it allows, a lot of the time, Twig to be as aggressive as he is.
Yeah.
Think of how iRaffer used to be on energy, right?
Yeah.
He allowed Adapting to do so much because he was there to cause a couple of problems himself. Twig going to the same sort of route for that game. This is a great look for Obey right now. They found something here that was so important.
Well, they got to be able to lock in on it, and a big part of it is Cubo Fred continuing to play as well as he just did.
Cubo Fred?
Or CaptainTwig, rather. Did I say Cubo Fred? Did I say Cubo Fred?
That's rude.
CaptainTwig is your
rude.
MVP here
Cubo
for this game.
can't play Ravana like that anymore.
Of course he can. Are you kidding me? He's not in this set, obviously, but
well, he was for you, wasn't he?
Well, I'm saying if CaptainTwig is looking like Cubo Fred all of a sudden, but yeah, it's an excellent performance here from him in the jungle on this Ravana pick, able to take down Yammyn just now as we saw. But I mean, he was really the one that was running the table. It felt like on this energy squad.
And the one thing we've spoken about Obey all split is the fact that Twig doesn't really work well in this meta. He's having a hard time adapting to it. He was very good the last season because of the counter initiation that he was able to put forward for his team, let the other assassins go aggressive. But now the assassin is the focal point of this team. So you've got to make sure you play the aggression in the early stages to allow your team to get to that mid-late stage point where the rest of the team comes through.
Junglers are so important right now. Let's see if they do prioritize even the gods for them here in the picks and bans. We got them ready because it is game 3. Obey up against NRG. You might not have expected it, but Obey have NRG maybe feeling a little bit nervous.
They're on the ropes, that's for sure. I'd
Certainly.
say that much. At least with how that second game went. Energy can fly back in after a certain point in that one, but a lot of that comes from the first game. Reason being is because picks and bans changed dramatically from game 1 to game 2 based off what Energy were forced to ban out to deal with Obey. And then Obey ended up getting Artio, Terra, and that Ravana caused a lot of problems. Energy back to the drawing board again. They think it's the Ra that's the issue.
And they've taken it away already. Obey gonna remove the Terra selection. Actually, when iRaffer looked pretty strong on, so they're going to get rid of that one themselves. And
Sure.
then Thoth going to be the next band.
They have to ban it themselves, though, because they're not first pick. That's the real key there, so take that away. A lot of things available, though. Dargy up again, Ravana. Achilles also available. Very, very opportune moment now for NRG to either look to strip something away Obey played previously or take something for themselves.
And this is very telling. They want to get this get adapting on something that not only he's comfortable on, we know how well he plays it, but that he can